Doug Ford is polling at an all-time low, and the Liberals are about to overtake the NDP. Let's take a look at these numbers because they're pretty surprising. For decided and leaning voters, only 33% of people plan on voting for Doug Ford, whereas the NDP and the Liberals are split 27% each. But it gets more interesting from here. If we take those top-line numbers and plug them into the 338 simulator, we get this as a result. It should be noted that you can't drop the Conservatives below 34%. And in this scenario, I wouldn't be surprised if the NDP and the Liberals work together to form a coalition. But this is most likely not the scenario that's going to occur, because they also show a breakdown of how people's voting patterns would change depending on who the Liberal leader is. No matter who is chosen, the Conservative vote is pretty consistent. But with one of the candidates, you can see a huge dip in the NDP's numbers. According to this poll, if Bonnie Crombie becomes the leader of the Liberals will eat a lot of NDP votes. About 1 in 5 NDP voters would consider voting for the Liberals with Crombie as leader. This seems to have less to do with traditional NDP votes and more to do with the fact that a lot of Liberal voters did not want to vote for Ford and parked their vote with the NDP. These would just be people coming home. But these numbers also paint a completely different picture. So it should be noted that with this simulator, you can't get the Liberals up to 29 and you can't get the Conservatives down to 31. But even with just these top line numbers, you can see that the NDP and the Liberals completely switch spaces. And if the Conservative vote share dropped to 31% and the Liberals went up to 29%, you would see the Liberals getting more seats than the Conservatives. This is because the Liberals have what's called an extremely efficient vote. Now you might be thinking, how is getting 20% of the vote but only 8 seats efficient? In Ontario, both provincially and federally, when the Liberals win seats, they tend to do so with very thin margins. They don't blow out a lot of seats winning by 10, 20%. They win a lot of seats winning by 1 to 5%. So in this scenario, there is a very good chance that Bonnie Crombie would actually win the most amount of seats. So for those of you on the left, Bonnie might not be your favorite choice for the leader, but she might be the best choice to beat Doug Ford. And the unfortunate truth of that is that it comes at the cost of the NDP. And she is the frontrunner by a wide margin. So assuming that Bonnie Crombie is the best chance at beating Doug Ford regardless of what party wins, are you okay with this outcome?